Hello everyone, today I'll be showing you how the management database in ELM, also called as MGTDB, is migrated. The management database, the MGTDB, that is, tracks the association between storage devices and storage pools, also called as retention groups, storage pools and allocations, also called as storehouse, allocations and raw log storage locations, which is storerooms, which is the .elm files. Migrating a management DB is the process that moves the ELM MGTDB folder from one location to another. The management database MGTDB is stored in different locations depending on the type of ELM. If it is a physical standalone ELM like ELM 6050, ELM 5775, the MGTDB is stored in ELM_storage local MGTDB, and the management DB can reside here permanently. Whereas in ELM, VM ELMs, ELM ERC, the management DB is stored in user local ELM MGTDB. Let me show it to you in my test environment. So here I have a ELM VM. If I navigate to user local ELM, I would see a directory called MGTDB, right? This has the ELM management database files. Now for VMs, the management DB is stored in this location and it needs to be migrated to a different location before we start using the ELM. Whereas in physical appliances, as I mentioned earlier, the management DB is located in ELM_storage local MGTDB. Well, I don't have this folder here. This is a VM, just to show it to you there. So now going to the ELM on the graphical user interface, the ELM is added to the ESM. If I click on the properties of this ELM and click on storage pools, what I get is a warning. It says the ELM management database is currently residing on the system drive along with the rest of OS. And if the drive runs out of space, logging will stop. So it's strongly recommended to move the database to a storage device with at least 500 GB of space, right? So you will not be able to even use this ELM or configure the storage pools unless a storage device is added and the management DB is migrated to this location. Now the upper window here is for defining the storage devices. This is a device that is used by ELM to store either the ELM DB or ELM logs. It could be a local storage device, local DAS, VM local, SAN, iSCSI, NFS, CIFS. Now what I'll be showing here is I'll be adding a storage device and then I'll be migrating the management database that is present on the device on user local ELM MGTDB to this storage device. The reason the management DB needs to be migrated, because in ELM VMs or ELM or ELM ERCs, the drive space would start filling up and it would use the space beyond the boundaries and will stop other functionalities of the device. It would stop functioning because it would run out of space. So it is mandatory for such devices, ELM VMs, ELM to migrate management DB to a different location before starting to use the ELM. Alright, I have added a storage device. This is an NFS share that I've added. It has a size of 600 GB and I have given the shared location. It's added here, and yes, out of the 600 GB removing the overheads, its available space is about 594 GB on this storage device that the ELM can use. For the management DB migration, minimum space required is 500 GB should be available on the storage device. The management DB requires that much space. Ensure that you have at least 50 to 100 GB more space available on the storage device so that it reduces the overheads before it goes ahead and configures and uses it for the management DB. So if the management DB requires 500 GB, do not just have 500 GB available on the storage device, because after the reduction of overhead, the available space would be probably around 460, 470 GB. And if you then try to migrate the management DB to this location, which has now less space after the overheads, you'll get an error that the storage device does not have sufficient space for the migration. So ensure that you have at least, if minimum is being 500 GB, you have at least 550 or 600 GB available for the management database. If it is a new configuration, right? If it was an existing configuration where you wanted to migrate it, for an appliance, say, the management DB could be much higher in space. It could be 1 GB, so you need to have at least that much space available on the external storage device where you want to migrate it. Right. Next, we'll be migrating the management DB to this location. To migrate the management database, you need to go to ELM properties, click on ELM configuration. In that, you'll have a tab for migrate DB. Migrate the ELM management database to a new location. At present, the management DB is present on the ELM VM on user local ELM MGTDB path. So we are now migrating it to an external location. If you click on migrate DB, right, once you select it, it shows select database location. Now here, the space allocated for management database is 500 GB. This is the minimum space that is allocated, that is needed for the management database, and that should be present on the storage device for it to migrate. You can increase it based on your requirement, based on the data sources that are logging on the ELM. You can increase it. And obviously here we have added only one storage device, so it's showing up. If you had multiple storage device, you can drop down and select it. I have the one storage device, the NFS share, that I'm going to use for the management DB, where I'll be migrating the management DB from ELM VM to this external NFS share location. And yeah, I'll leave it to the default of 500 GB. You can increase it, but minimum 500 GB is what's needed. And the device should have that much space. And I'll click on OK. It'll start the process, retrieving ELM information. We can even tail the Verilog messages to see what is happening and what it is doing in the migration process as well. Right now it's showing migration of the database started successfully. Close this window. Right, now if I go back to storage pools, should show as ELM management DB. Yeah, there you go. ELM MGTDB contains the management database, so that's where it has been migrated. Now the available space is 94 GB. Earlier it was 594 GB. Because now we have migrated the management DB to this location, it has used that 500 GB. The management DB may not be of that much size, but it goes ahead and defines the space that has been already allocated for it. And now if you can go ahead and check in the command line as well. So let me navigate to the command line. Alright, so here now if I look at the management DB, now you see there's a symbolic link that gets created to this location, right? ELM underscore allocation MGTDB allocation MGTDB, and if we check the storage.conf, this is the storage configuration for the NFS share, and this is where the NFS share is mounted. This is the location. And if you see the ELM allocation, right, MGTDB is pointing to ELM underscore allocation, and if you go into that path, right, so if you go to the path ELM underscore allocation, so user local ELM MGTDB has a symbolic link that points to this location, that is ELM underscore allocation MGTDB underscore allocation MGTDB. And if you go to ELM underscore allocation, this MGTDB actually points to ELM storage, which is nothing but the NFS storage. That's where the management DB has been migrated to, right? Earlier, if you remember, it would show, if you go here, it would just show the management DB that is present directly here. But now we have a symbolic link that points to the new location where the management DB has been migrated to. That's about it. So we have seen in this video how to migrate management DB to a storage device, ensuring it has sufficient space and confirming it is in the right location. The UI should show you that it has the management DB, the storage device contains the management database. And now the storage pools also button gets highlighted, where now you can go ahead and add your storage pools and have the data sources logging to this location. Thank you.